Welcome to Spoken English Certificate Course, Day 2nd, Lesson 3 Sentences. When we have to communicate in English, it is very important to frame the sentence correct. Today, we are here to just understand the basic rules for framing the sentence correct and improve our English in the oral platform. Our lesson would cover first the meaning of a sentence, which would definitely help us to understand in framing up a right sentence. Second, types of sentences, which would help us to identify and realize that every sentence is not similar and varies according to the expression, feelings, emotions, and various other factors. Third, parts of sentences, which would help us to use the 8 important grammatical terms effectively in framing a correct sentence. Learning is definitely good, but evaluating yourself is always the best mode to understand your loopholes and areas that require greater improvement. Our course structure is also as such, which would help us to have greater improvements and eliminate our loopholes by attempting for the assignments and tests. It is my request that to upgrade your knowledge and also to build up your confidence in speaking English fluently, you kindly appear for the assignment and test. So, my dear students, let us now understand what is a sentence. Group of words put together. Do you think just putting up different types of word would be a sensible sentence? So let us try with an example. Birds, the sky, in the fly. Definitely these are different words that are put together. But can we call this as a sentence? What does it mean? Does it have a meaning? So it is very important that when we frame up a sentence, it should just not be a group of words put together, but it should be as such that it would derive a meaning and give the other person an illustration of what we want to communicate or express. The right way could be as such with the following example. The birds fly in the sky, which gives us an ultimate meaning and also an illustration in our minds that the birds are flying in the sky and not anywhere else. Moving ahead to our next aspect, that is the type of sentences. The English language has divided the sentences into 4 types: declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. Declarative sentences are simply statements that relay information. They are the most common type of sentences in the English language. A declarative sentence states the fact or an opinion and lets the leader know something specific. Declarative sentences are those that talk about something and are usually informative and are regarded as talking about themselves and not others. These sentences usually end up with a full stop. Declarative sentences are also called as assertive sentences. But let me put as such that these sentences can be positive or also a negative declaration. We could clearly understand this with the example that has been given in the slide, which says the first sentence, I have not done my homework is talking about a negative declaration that says there is an incomplete work done by someone. Whereas the second sentence talks about my name is Chandra, which is a declarative about the name of the person and also is considered to be a positive declaration. Secondly, the imperative sentences. These sentences are an order for someone else. They're usually not self centric like declarative sentences and usually act as a command or request for the work that has to be completed. These sentences also end with a full stop. As we see this first example, go. Though being a single word, it has to be considered that it is a form of sentence because it has something hidden in it, and that is the word you. So hence, we shall understand that go is a kind of command that we are giving to someone else to do an act of work. The second example is something that talks about please complete your homework, wherein it is a form of request that we are putting forth to someone else to complete their assignments or homework. Thirdly, let us talk about interrogative sentences. These are the most frequent sentences that are being asked to get an answer as a reply. An interrogative sentence is a type of sentence that asks a question, as opposed to sentences that make a statement or deliver a command or express an exclamation. These sentences usually end up with a question mark and are always in the look for an answer from the one to whom the question has been raised. A very familiar example is what is your name? Where do you live? Or why are you late? Which always ends with a question mark, and our answer would be I live in so and so. My name is so and so. Let us now move on to the last type of sentences, that is an exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence conveys a strong emotion and ends with an exclamation mark. It is considered to be a more forceful version of a declarative sentence. In other words, an exclamatory sentence makes a statement, but it also conveys the excitement or emotion through that statement or that sentence. Exclamatory sentences are usually used in advertisement and informal correspondence. Example, through emails, text, and as such. They are the quite rare sentences which will be used for business correspondence, where a level head usually needs to be portrayed. Let us now move to understand the 8 important grammatical parts of a sentence. First, noun. What is a noun? Simply, the name of a person, place, animal, thing, or place can be considered as noun. For example, Carol, house, teacher, cup. If I need to just use them through a form of sentence, so we see this as an example. Desmond is my best friend, wherein Desmond is the noun in this part of sentence. Let us now move ahead to understand what is a verb. A verb is something that describes an action or is an experience. Usually we say it is something that is related to work. The quite important examples could be run, walk, push, or eat. We have an example to understand what is a verb. Rohit ran to school because he was late. So over here we could understand that did Rohit walk and go? Did Rohit swim and go? How did Rohit go? So what was his action? So we understand through his action that Rohit ran. So the word ran is considered to be a verb in this sentence. Adjectives. Adjectives are something that describes a noun or a pronoun. It actually beautifies the noun and gives something more to the pronoun. Example: short, beautiful, red, old. So let us understand through a sentence. Merlin is a beautiful girl. I could just simply tell Merlin is a girl. It was definitely a right sentence. But to just exaggerate the beauty of Merlin, I required to describe how she was. So I just use this adjective beautiful, and the sentence turns up to tell us that Merlin is far different from the other girls. Adverb. Adverb describes a verb or an adjective. Example: slowly, yesterday, always. We have a statement or a sentence here. Roshan is always late for school. Here we know that though late is a verb, but since Roshan is always late, or maybe Roshan is repeatedly coming late to school, I need to emphasize and describe his attitude of coming late, which could be shown as Roshan is always late for school, and the word always turns up to be an adverb in this sentence. Pronoun. Pronoun replaces the name of a person, place, animal, or thing. Instead of using repeatedly the name of a person in our sentences while we are writing about that person, we could use a pronoun to replace that name. The examples are I, she, he, are, they, and it. Example: Jeet is a very nice friend. Jeet is also very helpful. Instead of using Jeet twice, I have just replaced the second Jeet with a pronoun he. So he turns up to be a pronoun in this part of sentence. Interjection. Interjection are words that express strong emotion and is usually followed by an exclamation mark. Example: wow, oh, are some examples of an interjection. Let us just see through a sentence. Wow, the view is amazing. The sentence could just be the view is amazing. But to just emphasize that that view was fantastic and indeed different from the other views, I could use an interjection and show the difference in that view. Conjunction. Conjunctions are words that connect different words, phrases, or clauses in a sentence. Example: and, but, although, or. Example through a sentence: I watch TV and eat food. Instead of writing I watch TV, I eat food, I combined both these sentences into one sentence and said that I watch TV and eat food. So the word and is in conjunction that is connecting two sentences or two phrases and making it into one phrase or a sentence. Preposition. Prepositions describe the place, time, or direction. It is used before a noun or a pronoun. Example: under, above, in, during, over, the are quite few examples of a preposition. The cat jumped over the box. Over here, there are actually three prepositions that are used. One, we understand that cat is a noun. So when we see before cat, we can see there is the that is put forth, which acts as a preposition. Box is name of a thing, and before it we can see the. But over here a special preposition is also there that talks about over. So here we end up learning sentences. But my dear students, a sentence can be a combination of all these 8 parts of sentences, but a right preposition has to be used at the right place to make it a sensible sentence.